A Christian revival across the country. Bible sales increasing over 40% since 2022. Religion app downloads surging nearly 80%. And Christian music Spotify streams up 50% from 2019.
Why are they going to Orthodox Church more than the evangelical church? I'm evangelical. I'll say, well, first of all, they want something that has lasted. They want something that is ancient and that is beautiful. Something that has stood the test of time. Something that's not going to change.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
The United States and all of Western civilization has been profoundly shaped by the extraordinary achievements of the Greek people, stretching all the way back to ancient times, long time.
Christian revival across the country. Bible sales increasing over 40% since 2022. Religion app downloads surging nearly 80%. And Christian music Spotify streams up 50% from 2019.
Why are they going to Orthodox Church more than the evangelical church? I'm evangelical. I'll say, well, first of all, they want something that has lasted. They want something that is ancient and that is beautiful. Something that has stood the test of time. Something that's not going to change.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
The United States and all of Western civilization has been profoundly shaped by the extraordinary achievements of the Greek people, stretching all the way back to ancient times, long time.
Christian revival across the country. Bible sales increasing over 40% since 2022. Religion app downloads surging nearly 80%. And Christian music Spotify streams up 50% from 2019.
Why are they going to Orthodox Church more than the evangelical church? I'm evangelical. I'll say, well, first of all, they want something that has lasted. They want something that is ancient and that is beautiful. Something that has stood the test of time. Something that's not going to change.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
The United States and all of Western civilization has been profoundly shaped by the extraordinary achievements of the Greek people, stretching all the way back to ancient times, long time.
Christian revival across the country. Bible sales increasing over 40% since 2022. Religion app downloads surging nearly 80%. And Christian music Spotify streams up 50% from 2019.
Why are they going to Orthodox Church more than the evangelical church? I'm evangelical. I'll say, well, first of all, they want something that has lasted. They want something that is ancient and that is beautiful. Something that has stood the test of time. Something that's not going to change.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
The United States and all of Western civilization has been profoundly shaped by the extraordinary achievements of the Greek people, stretching all the way back to ancient times, long time.
Christian revival across the country. Bible sales increasing over 40% since 2022. Religion app downloads surging nearly 80%. And Christian music Spotify streams up 50% from 2019.
Why are they going to Orthodox Church more than the evangelical church? I'm evangelical. I'll say, well, first of all, they want something that has lasted. They want something that is ancient and that is beautiful, something that has stood the test of time, something that's not going to change.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
The United States and all of Western civilization has been profoundly shaped by the extraordinary achievements of the Greek people, stretching all the way back to ancient times, long time.
Christian revival across the country. Bible sales increasing over 40% since 2022. Religion app downloads surging nearly 80%. And Christian music Spotify streams up 50% from 2019.
Why are they going to Orthodox Church more than the evangelical church? I'm evangelical. I'll say, well, first of all, they want something that has lasted. They want something that is ancient and that is beautiful, something that has stood the test of time, something that's not going to change.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
The United States and all of Western civilization has been profoundly shaped by the extraordinary achievements of the Greek people, stretching all the way back to ancient times, long time.
Christian revival across the country. Bible sales increasing over 40% since 2022. Religion app downloads surging nearly 80%. And Christian music Spotify streams up 50% from 2019.
Why are they going to Orthodox Church more than the evangelical church? I'm evangelical. I'll say, well, first of all, they want something that has lasted. They want something that is ancient and that is beautiful, something that has stood the test of time, something that's not going to change.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
The United States and all of Western civilization has been profoundly shaped by the extraordinary achievements of the Greek people, stretching all the way back to ancient times, long time.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to American Orthodoxy. I'm your host, as always, Benjamin Michael. I've got a great show for you today. We're going to be going over some recent drama over on Instagram, and we're also going to be covering this recent debate that it was featuring primarily Kai and Matt Nuclear, although there were some other big names that were part of this debate. So to kind of kick things off here, guys, we're going to dive right into what's been kind of going on over on Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, you should make an Instagram just so you can follow me. That's like, you know, this is where like most of my content is. I'm about to hit 70K over there. Glory to God. And it's where I'm getting most of my traction. And it's actually how I've been able to push through my my shadow ban over here on Instagram. By the way, guys, I am going to be trying to bring on Evan today to help out with the debate review. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if we're able to do it. I'm going to try doing it through Zoom. And so we'll see kind of how it goes, but we'll give it a try here in a little bit. All that being said, guys, so basically what's going on here with this post is this has been a long time coming. I wanted to make this post. And to be honest, it was just sort of a little bit of drama that kind of triggered it with a sister in the faith who has been attacking me, calling me a big meanie racist, stupid head, and spreading anti-white rhetoric. You guys can check out my Instagram story to see specifically what anti-white rhetoric she said. But one of the things was she thinks it's inherently racist for white people to want to preserve their culture, which ironically is anti-white racism on her part. But two of the things that often we hear, guys, is race isn't real. And they usually will cite there is neither Jew nor Greek. And then nationalism isn't Christian. Now, we did cover I'm probably going to go quickly through the nationalist quotes because we did do a whole stream. We did do a whole stream on, what was it, last week on nationalism. But I do want to show you guys some of the quotes on race in particular because those ones are very interesting. And it's been a little bit since I've covered them. Now, guys, something about race. So first of all, everyone should watch my conversation with John Heers on this topic because John Heers is a dear brother, but he's a little bit boomer minded on the topic of race. And so he and I, you can kind of see how I field some of the objections that he gives. And no, the sister in the faith is Orthodox that is attacking me. She is Orthodox. She actually made a full post. It's on my story. She made a full post critiquing me, and the post has like 300 comments and like 100 likes. And like everybody in the comments basically defending me. So anyways, all that being said, this is the great content that you're missing out on if you are not on Instagram. I want to actually go to the end here. The caption is the same, but I want to start with this because this is really important, guys, to my sort of paradigm. And I get accused of being a hateful person, which anyone who knows me knows I'm not a hateful person. I have no hatred towards any race. In fact, I've made this point before, guys. If there's any hatred in my heart, it's genuinely what I struggle with the most is hatred for white people that are traitors, that basically have bought into this propaganda and they despise themselves. And so if I have any hatred that I struggle with in my heart, I know it's wrong, right? But what I'm actually fighting is the hatred against white people that are basically traitors. Those are the ones that frustrate me the most. Now, all that being said, guys, I am not a hateful person. I'm also not weaponizing the saints. People will think that I'm trying to make this this is the official teaching of the Orthodox Church. That's not my position. I don't believe that to be true. I don't believe that these quotes are the official position of the Orthodox Church. That's not the claim I'm making. It's not the claim I've ever made. In fact, I would just say that my view is compatible with the Orthodox Church's teachings on these things, and I would reference these saints' quotes to justify that because a lot of the saints had very similar views. These are not quote mines because, like in the example of St Dumitru that we're going to be going through, or the example in St Nikolai, these are saints who wrote entire books on this subject, guys. Entire books, plural, on the topic of nationalism and national identity, which they saw as virtually identical to ethnicity. As always, guys, I clarify almost every day that I affirm the universal equality of all mankind under Christ. I reject the heresy of ethnophilatism. We've covered this before. Ethnophilatism has nothing to do with nationalism. Ethnophilatism is when you are gatekeeping, right? It's when you are gatekeeping the church based on ethnicity, right? That's what ethnophilatism is. Nobody's advocating for that. We're talking about national identity. We're talking about national identity. We're not talking about gatekeeping the church based on ethnicity. No one is in support of that. So it's not ethnophilatism. You guys will often hear piety signalers, virtue signalers will cite ethnophilatism as a condemned heresy, which is partially true. I grant that it is. However, I've brought up the nuance on this. Not all the patriarchs accepted it. Only a couple patriarchs accepted it. In fact, the Patriarch of Jerusalem attended. the council and did not even sign the decree. So there is some nuance with whether or not it's a heresy, but I grant that it's a heresy because what I'm doing has nothing to do with ethnophiletism. I don't know if there's another mod in here. If not, I may have to add mods. Why, do you have to run, Oscar? Evan should be here momentarily. So all this to say, the end here, I make the point, I'm a nationalist who loves my people and my homeland. I strive for an American nationalism that is animated by the Christian faith, which includes the rebirth of the nation through Christ. Okay? So all that being said, I'm just going to breeze through this post real quick so we can get to the debate. Because I'm kind of cooked today, guys. I'm not going to lie. I apologize to my members. I have been slacking on giving you guys exclusive content. I am just absolutely cooked this week. I don't know why. But anyways, this is probably my favorite quote on nationalism by any saint ever. We walked through this. We actually kind of looked at his whole homily. Just message me on Instagram. I'll make you a mod. Talking to Orthodoxer. I know who you are. That's why I'm not saying that to anybody. I know who this person is. That's why I'm gonna make him a mod. Oh, okay. Evan's here. Are you in the Zoom box, dude? Let me hang on a second. I don't know what happened to my Zoom. We're gonna try Zoom today, guys. Here it is. All right. Can you hear me? You can hear me, Evan? Oh, wait. Am I not? Yeah, I'm unmuted. Can you hear me, Evan?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear the vid? Let's see if you can. Let's make sure you can hear the video. You can see the screen, right? It's screen sharing.
Yeah, I can see the screen.
Okay.
I can't see myself. Can you see me?
Yeah, yourself is fine. You can chat. Can you guys hear him? Let me make sure chat can hear. They should be able to hear you because it's going through the audio. Let me make sure here. Chat, just let me know if you can hear him. Can you hear this? I'm about to play the video.
Hello and welcome to Checkmate, the debate show where
Can you hear that?
No, I can't. I can't hear it.
Dang it. This is what I was worried about. I don't know where I got to go. Okay, they can hear you. So I just have to figure out how to get the audio of the video. Here. So you can see now where I'm looking at here. Give me a second, guys. Every time I do call-ins, I swear there's something.
This is like the most confusing part of streaming. Is like call-ins.
It really is. It's really annoying, actually. I'm trying to do the Zoom thing. As soon as I can get here, audio. Here. I'm just gonna. You guys can hear him and the video. I know you guys can. I'm trying to get him to be able to hear the video. How to share. Click share screen. Click share sound at the bottom of the window and click share. I didn't see that. Oh, here we go. System audio. Okay. I think we're good. You can still hear me, right, Evan? Evan? Bro. Oh, I wonder if you can't. Oh, I'm muted. Oh my gosh. That's so annoying. That's so annoying. It doesn't let me freaking share at the same time. So I can't share audio and talk at the same time. That is so stupid. Here, I might be able to put here, Evan, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I might here. I wonder if I can just put captions on. because it's not going to let me, it doesn't let me do my audio with, yeah, here, we'll just do captions. You'll just have to read the captions.
What about the thing that we were doing last time with the X space?
The X space, I won't be able to share it. That's so the hardest part. This is not Boomer Tech, guys. You guys don't know. I am not coping. They're calling me Boomer Tech in the comments. This time I refuse to be gaslit. I'm not coping. You guys don't know how hard this is. All right. You guys don't know how hard it is to freaking stream. And so
we need Nick, bro.
There's no way to share audio from the system on X spaces. There's no way. So the only way to do this is captions, because Zoom doesn't let me share my audio and the system audio at the same time.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you'll just have to deal with captions. Okay.
Let's see if I can do it.
Can you see them?
Yeah, I can see him.
Okay. So it shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Everybody can hear Evan. So I was walking through. Let me just finish up real quick. I'm just going to breeze through this real quick, guys. My post on Instagram. So this is the quote from St. Philip. You guys have seen that a bunch of times. This is the quote from St. Augustine that I shared, that basically it talks about how the Galatians 3:28, neither Jew nor Greek, is taken out of context by people, because he brings up how these temporal qualities still remain even though we're all equal under Christ. St. Seraphim Rose, this is one of my favorite quotes on this topic, because he's talking about New World Order. He's talking about Marxism and their agenda. And he says that destroying race, distinction in race, is one of their end games. So anyone that is advocating for destroying distinction in race is, pushing this New World Order agenda. And this will make sense in the context of Elder Athanasios, who talks about how basically the Antichrist is trying to create basically a universalism, because that's how he's going to rule. So that's what St. Seraphim Rose is referencing. St. Nikolai explicitly saying that the white race is peoples of Europe and America. So there's people that seethe about this because they don't think that there's such thing as the white race. I've shared this a billion times. The Russian Synod of 2000 says that a nation is an ethnic community, and that we have an obligation to our ethnic community and our brothers by blood. This full quote by Elder Athanasios, guys, is absolutely fire. It is absolutely fire. Someone said a 16-year-old could figure it out. Maybe. Guys, OBS is no joke. Okay, OBS is no joke. I had to have a lot of help setting this up, and I am a little bit Boomer Tech. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to. St. John Chrysostom talking about his commentary on 1 Timothy 5:8, where St. Paul says that if you don't provide for your own, you are worse than an unbeliever. He basically extrapolates on this and says this applies to your kin, your extended kin, which is your ethnicity. St. Dumitru, guys, so that girl who attacked me, she shared a quote from Father Turbo, which was absolutely correct. Father Turbo said that basically that nationalism is not going to save you. Guess what? St. Dumitru says the same exact thing, but then he extrapolates on it, and I bet Father Turbo would agree with this. He says, nationalism of itself can neither save nor destroy. But in practice, all nationalism is either redemptive or destructive, according to whether or not it is animated by the Christian faith. So in other words, if one were to have a nationalism that was animated by the Christian faith, it actually is redemptive. It actually is redemptive, according to St. Dumitru. He also likens nationalism to other temporal things that are good, such as food. He basically says that just as food is not inherently gluttony, so also nationalism is not inherently hatred or lust for hegemony. He also says that nations are divinely prescribed and part of the natural order. He says that in both of these quotes. Again, guys, entire books. He wrote entire books on this topic, one called Orthodoxy and Nationalism and one called Orthodoxy and Romanianism. So this is not quote mine. We walked through this quote, the St. Cleopa Eli. This is the best quote on nationalism I've ever heard in my life. I walked through the entire thing on my stream on nationalism, so you guys can go check that out. And then we also walked through St. Dionysi on that stream as well. I basically just show this to show how modernistic Christianity has become. He literally says, human rights is a trap used to legalize sin, to not be able to say anything against those that sin because they are protected by law. Human rights are satanic because they are human rights by flesh. In order for man to satisfy all of his passions, they are not human rights of those who want to live for God. What a thing for homosexuality to be imposed and protected by law. So all that to say, guys, that's my Instagram post. Here, I'll drop the link in the chat for you. You guys can go follow me on Instagram. And all that being said, Evan, you still there?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let me see. All right, let's dive into the debate. And Evan is going to be having to deal with captions, unfortunately. But here we go.
Yeah,
Fact checking your
let's get
opponent
into
wins you
it.
the game.
Megyn Kelly, she's not an interventionalist.
When did she say that?
Nobody wants to fact check it, because am I right? Am I right? Listen, I never thanks.
Okay, we're talking about the difference between war and genocide.
That is actually part of my argument, is that racism exists.
You guys remember? So this dude on the left was, he first went viral on like leftist Twitter because he is obviously like, he looks, I mean, what is this? Like, what do we got going on here? I don't like, what is he even going for? Like, what is the look he's going for here? But he was like advocating for like nationalism, but he was like, it was just kind of funny. Like the basically leftists were dragging him because, I mean, is this a, I don't have my glasses on. Is this a Mexican flag right here?
So that's like the Persian flag.
Oh,
like
Persian
like
flag.
Persian nationalist.
Okay, so why is he wearing a Persian flag if he's representing Zionism? I don't get it.
Because Persia has this sort of allyship with Israel where it acts as like a beacon of like Western influence in that like Persian region. So like, for example, before the Iranian Revolution, it was very pro-West. Like, have you ever seen those memes where it was like, this is what Iran looked like in the 70s, and it's like a bunch of women wearing bikinis and stuff that's sort of like what he's a fan of. That's what he's supporting.
I mean, still, it's a flag that's not the American flag, and it's a guy supposedly who is an American nationalist. This is like, you guys saw my reel on this with the Pakistani dude that was like, remember who you are, American boy, and it's literally a Pakistani guy with a Pakistani flag in his bio, and I was like, dude, like, what are we doing here?
Bro, look at this frame. This is a nightmare blunt rotation right there, bro.
What's that?
Oh, she's in it too, bro. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like, I know.
Oh my
This is gonna be,
okay.
this is gonna be real. This is gonna be, thankfully it's only an hour, 10 minutes.
Hey, and I'll fact check you. Be specific, be a man.
You guys mad at the fact checkers.
Right, you guys buzzed
I
up
love you guys.
Is this like a new thing? The fact check thing? I haven't seen this before. This is my first time seeing the fact check thing. I usually have just seen Surrounded. So I don't know if this is a new thing.
It's a newer thing. I think they just started it like a month or a month and a half ago.
Okay.
Paris Rose, and today it's pro-Israel conservatives versus anti-Israel conservatives. Let's meet the pro-Israel cast.
I'm Eden Verbatim.
I'm Mateen.
I
am Matt Nuclear. I'm Nick Matau.
Hey, welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Now let's meet the anti-Israel
they're going
cast.
I'm Dennis Vetoza.
I'm Gerard.
I'm Philip Young.
And I'm Kai Schwemmer.
Players, the game is simple. If the other side says something false, hit your button and your fact checkers will verify it live. If you're right, your team gets a point. And if you're...
You said Kai's the only one you recognize? Kai's also the only based one. I've seen this guy.
I don't know who that is, but I've seen him before.
I don't trust him. I don't know. He's just kind of sus to me. I have no idea who these two are. Absolutely no idea. Absolutely no idea. This guy has terrible physiognomy.
Wrong, the other team gets a point. But remember, you can only press
the reason
your
I trust Kai is because he has phenomenal physiognomy. That's really why I trust. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm kidding. It's a joke. They're gonna clip me. Clipped.
Yeah.
And once per prompt. So push it wisely. Are you guys ready?
Yes,
Let's go.
Oh, I love that. All right, it's time to find out who's actually more informed. The first checkmate prompt is, does supporting Israel put America first? All right, heads, tails?
I'll be tails. Ready.
Tails. So Kai, you're going first, and your time starts now.
Nick, good to meet you.
Good to meet you.
So I think when we're addressing the issue of whether supporting Israel is America first, we're both conservatives here. So what we want is something that aligns with conservative interests, the presidency generally, and something that we can deem to, be beneficial for U.S. interests. And I think right now, the most important issue facing America is what's going on with Iran. And we've had tons of attempts at peace deals. I will say, my claim is that Israel very consistently is undermining what the U.S. objective is, which is diplomacy. And in this way, they're very overtly going against what our aim is in the region. And they did this just recently by once again ramping up
Someone
tension.
said Kai tops out at 7 on the based scale, -3 for being Mormon. That's a W take, because Kai otherwise is a 10 on the base scale. But because he's Mormon, it's just automatic -3. Guys, we're going to convert Kai. Kai's going to become Orthodox. And I know you're watching because you told me you were going to, Kai. You were going to watch it back tonight. So we're coming after you, bro. You can't run forever.
With the warriors of Hezbollah in Lebanon, which compromised the peace deal that we were trying to negotiate, or the MOU with Iran.
Are you saying that they attacked Hezbollah first?
No, they responded to an attack by Hezbollah, but they knew that by doing so it would compromise the
Just jump in whenever, Evan, if you guys
attempt that we were doing through the MOU with Iran to actually establish a kind of peace. And I think they've done that intentionally. They did that earlier when they struck prior during negotiations last year that we were involved in with Iran. They have repeatedly kind of taken military action that draws us into a conflict rather than allows us to pursue diplomacy. The United States has claimed that we want diplomacy. Israel doesn't seem to value that at all, and I think that there's a conflicting interest there. Thus, it's not America first.
So I think diplomacy works best.
Yeah.
So everything that Kai is saying right now is verifiably true. Like, no matter if you're a Zionist or not, like, Israel's goal in the region is war.
Right.
Israel, thrives off of war. And they want America to fight these wars for them. So whenever America is trying to get out, whenever Trump is trying to find an off-ramp, with the negotiations that they were trying to have to open up the Suez Canal, Israel immediately undermined it by bombing Beirut 100 times and killing literally hundreds of people, targeting funerals and whatnot. All of that is true. And Israel has said that to be true as well. Benjamin Netanyahu says, no, we're going to keep going. They are purposely undermining our diplomatic efforts. Now, we're going to see if Nick Matau concedes to that, or if he tries to lie and say that there was no arrangement. Or
that is so.
Been doing that.
Yeah, that is what Nick tends to do. Is he tends to lie about. So this is going to be interesting. Some Nick shills in the comments were saying earlier that he is seething about some of the fact checks that happened here, and quote unquote refuted the fact checks. So we'll see.
When you were both abiding by a ceasefire, right? With the good intention that you're going towards diplomacy, and you did admit that they responded. The ceasefire, you agree, was both sides, Hezbollah and Israel.
By the way, guys, do you already see how vastly different this conversation is than Nick's was with Orthodox Muslim? Do you guys see how vastly different? Can you imagine if it was Korah or if it was any of the mainstream Muslims, Itachi, Malik, freaking Orthodox Muslim / Libiano? If it was any of those guys, bro, they would already be screaming at each other, because those people, they are barbarians. They don't know how to debate properly. They don't know how to actually have dialogue where you make progress with one another, right? And so that's why every single debate they do is a total shit show. Because either they just talk over the other person. Well, they always talk over the other person. And either the other person just takes it or they kick them. Because it's impossible to have discourse with Muslims. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw, but Korah got just absolutely obliterated by a Zionist. I mean, the Muslims are the worst defenders of the Palestinian position. They're so bad. They're actually horrendous.
They're not very good
on
that
They're
topic
so
at
bad,
all.
bro. Just let us do it. Muzzy, step aside. All right, we got it. All right, we'll carry the boats. All right, just get out of the way.
So if they're responding, then why wouldn't you put that more on Iran?
Well, where did they respond?
You said that. I said. Are you saying that they attacked
I'm not
first?
disputing that. Where did they respond?
The latest one was 4 IDF soldiers were actually killed.
Where were they killed?
Right, they were killed. I don't know the name of the village.
In Lebanon.
Oh, well, yeah, sure. That's true. But the ceasefire, and they've already made it clear, has nothing to do with the security zone that they've already established, which I want to also remind you, the Lebanese government themselves, the actual government, right? Hezbollah's part of it. I think they're 3rd most popular group. They're part of it, but the Lebanese government, the Lebanese president, has not blamed Israel for this. He actually specifically came out and blamed Hezbollah for actually starting this war. And although, yes, he might have different ideas with Israel, of course, because they're two sovereign nations, he's made it very clear that he does want Hezbollah out. He does not want them to be starting conflicts and starting wars. If it was Israel...
That definitely sounds like something he probably has to say out of political necessity. I mean, I would imagine that's one of those type of concessions. Like he has no, like the president has no choice but to condemn Hezbollah. Of course he's going to condemn Hezbollah. Like, of course he's going to. He's a politician. So to I don't know. What do you think about that point? I feel like that's a moot point. Oh, are you gone, Evan? Did I lose you? Ah, shoot. I'll bring him back.
First off, Lebanon and Israel came together for the first time in a very long time and actually had diplomatic talks, right? So it's very clear that the way Lebanon, the actual Lebanese government is going, is that they want this out. And they've even made it clear that they don't want people negotiating for them to try to protect Hezbollah. And so to get back to your overall claim, I agree with you. Conservative values is putting America first. And for me, I actually see Israel as a huge innovation. I mean, they spend about 6% of their GDP on R&D, which is, I believe, the most out of any of our allies, definitely at the top. And it's also very important because in 2023, China actually increased the amount that they were putting R&D, right? The percentage of their GDP.
Can I push back there a little bit? I think a big part of that, right, comes in the way that we've been giving them money in the past. Would you disagree with the idea that the money that we were providing through MOU to Israel historically, which came through grants, allowed them greater domestic investment rather than just buying arms strictly from the United States?
We limit a lot of their domestic R&D. For example, certain munitions, we forced them not to be able to build. They were actually building what was going to be one of the greatest jets in the world at the time, especially for a country the size of Israel. And we, amongst other things, actually helped put a stop to that. And on top of that, the R&D that they put in and the information for the fighter jets that we provide for them, we get more information than, if not any ally, most of our allies. And we actually use that, and it's helped upgraded our own systems, and it's actually upgraded these systems to be some of the best in the world.
Now, players, remember, Nick has thrown a lot of information right now. Don't be afraid to fact check.
Go ahead, push the button.
Bring it up.
Push the button. I dare you to. Anyways, okay, how does the MOU work? Do you know how it works?
Well, yeah, certainly. The majority of it, and it's kind of difficult, right, because the loans and grants,
that's separate. I'm talking about the MOU with the FMF program. How does it work? The $3.8 billion.
Hold on. I want to stick you to the point that I originally mentioned to see if you disagree with it, which is that a portion of the funds that Israel was receiving from the United States went, I think...
Sorry, guys, just give me a second. I'm bringing Evan back.
Quarter of them is the statistic, to reinvest in domestic production of arms, which is why actually Israel became such a big arms and just military manufacturer. It was incredibly impressive, right? You have this tiny nation who becomes this very impressive developer in military technology. That doesn't happen independent of money funneling from the United States.
I'm not going to say what you said was wrong, but it's not particularly correct either. So the thing is that...
It's a secret third thing.
No. You said a quarter, which you're kind of extrapolating that because about 75% has to go back to the American economy, so you're just assuming the rest is for this.
No, a quarter of those other funds not used.
You're talking about not the MOU,
yes.
FMF. Okay, well, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the MOU and the FMF. You know how it works. At $3.8 billion a year. Yeah, so about $500 million of that goes straight into missile defense system.
Woo, we got our first button push. I'm excited.
I want to fact check how much money goes into missile defense from the MOU.
Bye, Kai.
He said that $500 million goes into missile defense.
Of the $3.8 billion, but yes.
There's an additional amount. That's what I'm asking, really. It's not just $500 million.
So, Nick, you claim that $500 million goes to the missile defense of the $3.8 billion in aid from the USA to Israel. Our fact checkers checked, and the verdict is true. Roughly $500 million per year of U.S. money goes into missile defense under the current 10-year U.S.-Israel Memorandum of Understanding, MOU.
Alrighty.
Thank you, Kaya. Come on to the podium.
Bro got cooked.
We're going to start with you, and the time starts now.
So yes, we're continuing with this prompt. Does supporting Israel put America first?
Do you guys know who this guy
I would have
is?
to say,
bro, why didn't I get invited to this thing, man? Like, who are these people?
like as a technical matter and as a logical and philosophical matter, if we're putting Israel first, then by definition America can't be first, because we're talking about, you know, two to use a metaphor from physics, two objects occupying the exact same space. So if you're priority.
All right, Evan should be back now. Evan, you good, bro?
Yeah, hello.
You can see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Prioritizing something, then by definition.
Kai got kicked. It was over the it was a dollar amount on the MOU that In fact, we can just rewind it for a second.
And that was such a dumb point because I was watching
you saw
that.
it? Okay.
Yeah, like between Megan drop down, I was watching that, and that's not even a good point to push back on. The reason why is because the concern about the MOU isn't like the dollar amount. It's about Israel's like sweetheart privileges and how they get to use their FMF funding. So Israel's the only country that's eligible for cash flow financing. That's what the U.S. government calls it, which basically allows it to use FMF to finance multi-year purchases without having to pay for the acquisitions entirely up front. So additionally, Israel has also been permitted to spend FMF appropriations on Israeli weaponry. So this is a practice that's being phased out in the current MOU, but it has historically pumped hundreds of millions of dollars into the Israeli defense industry. So Israel is also permitted to use the FMF to purchase armaments directly from U.S. manufacturers, but also towards Israeli manufacturers, and they also enjoy expedited congressional review periods. So basically, they don't really have to ask like before doing anything. So this is something that only Israel has. So I mean, when people talk about like the actual number amount, like I'd rather just focus on the fact that Israel has like a sweetheart agreement with the United States.
Yeah, and that's something that Mearsheimer goes in detail in the Israel lobby is all of the unique sort of privileges that Israel has that literally no other nation, not even any of our other allies, have. So
and no other thing can be in that thing's place. So we can't simultaneously put
the prompt is supporting Israel, not putting Israel first as America first. So I agree with you. Putting Israel first would not be America first. I agree with you, but that's not the prompt.
Yeah.
By the way, this is something that they're conceding finally. You guys know those viral videos where it's like America first or Israel first, and like people will refuse to answer. Like they're starting to get a little smarter. Like the Zionists are starting to get a little bit smarter. They're starting to like grant some of this stuff. They're starting to say, yeah, if there was a war, we'd side with America, but it's just, there's never really practically going to be a war between Israel and America. No, Zionism doesn't, especially the left-wing guys will say, oh, Zionism doesn't necessitate the pushing out of the Palestinians, which Evan and I actually kind of disagree on this point. I think there is some truth to that for the left-wing Jews. I think the right-wing Jews very much believe that Zionism is inherently tied, and this goes all the way back to Herzl. Zionism is inherently tied to the displacements of the Palestinians.
Who was a left-wing Jew, by the way?
What's that? Well, yes, he was, but I'm talking about modern left-wing Jews who have basically, because of the progressive agenda that has driven them a certain direction, they have no choice but to basically accept that, like, the Canaanite population, which is native to the land, which the genetics show, like, they also have claim to it. And so basically now the sort of, and if you watch the Jubilee Surrounded there was a left-wing Jew who basically presented this position and defended it, and that was what he was saying, was that, like, yeah, you guys are native, so are we, so we can basically live in harmony in the land, and I'm still a Zionist because all Zionism is, and guys, they do this sophistic tactic, right, of, like, defining Zionism very loosely as, like,
exactly.
Oh, just like Israel as a state can exist. But 90%, I would say, like, usually, at least historically, I don't know if this is true now, but definitely historically, Zionism has always meant a Jewish ethno-state. In fact, if you look at the official definition of anti-Semitism, we've talked about this before, that's accepted by the EU, that's enforced by Ivy League schools here in the United States, one of the examples it gives is denial of a Jewish ethno-state. Like, if you deny Jews have a right to an ethno-state, you are an anti-Semite. So that's a good point to press them on usually, especially these left-wingers, because they will usually shy away from the Jewish ethno-state language, whereas the right-wingers they'll own it. Like, they will say, like, no, we want a Jewish ethno-state. So anyways, that's kind of a rant, but...
when you're supporting Israel...
Just real quick,
yeah.
What I was going to say was you can really see, like, when you look at the Israel first and America first conversation, these Zionists went full mask off after they got their Iran war that they've literally been lobbying our government for the past decade to get. Like, what a lot of people don't realize is that Donald Trump is the most pro-Israel president we've had. It's not by accident. Like, this literally happened because Obama, like him or not, he was making diplomatic progress with Iran with the nuclear proliferation agreement. And we saw Iran's nuclear enrichment at the lowest it's ever been under the Obama administration, because we loosened sanctions on Iran and because we were actually making progress. That's when AIPAC, Miriam Adelson, Paul Singer, and a bunch of other like Israeli Jewish loyalists started lobbying and trying to figure out who's going to be the next president to actually rip this agreement to shreds. And that ended up being Trump. That was completely intentional. And that was one of his campaign promises. It says, elect me, and I'll literally rip that agreement to shreds. And that's exactly what he did. And not only that, they actually got their war. They got their war with Iran that they've been wanting. Not only did they get their war,
they've been wanting it for 30, 40 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So like this is what they've been yearning for. And you know what's so funny? When we start the war, we basically are having all of our military bases leveled throughout the region. We're trying to find an off-ramp. Israel isn't like, okay, thanks, America. Thanks for getting us to this point. They're mad at us for not continuing the war.
Right.
You know, they're mad at us. And they're saying that Trump is the worst president of all time because he's not destroying Iran and he's not mobilizing, all of our military assets to completely do regime change in Iran. It's like they will never like accept the blessings that they've received from America until they get absolutely everything that they want. So to answer the question, or sort of like to address the conversation, and then, because I'm kind of ranting, Nick Matau will say, no, I'm America first, not Israel first. But then when you ask him about Donald Trump and this war and everything, and you ask any Zionist about Donald Trump and how he's handling the war, they hate Donald Trump because he's not going all the way.
Right.
So that they always show their true colors.
Yeah. And I, when you were speaking, it kind of reminded me, you guys know, I don't know how many of you guys have actually interacted maybe with someone close to you in your life who's a narcissist, but this is how they act is they'll treat you a certain way. And then if you ever dare treat them the same way that they treat you, or if you step out of line at all, basically they will blow up at you. They'll crash out at you for basically operating the same way they do. And Israel is literally a narcissist in the form of a nation state. That's basically how they operate. And so
Yeah.
even if you bend over backwards, which basically we have, the United States has literally bent over backwards for the Israeli government for really its entire existence. Even JFK had some pro-Israel, even the most anti-Israel president had pro-Israel tendencies, guys. I hate to break it to you. I love JFK, but he did. So every president in American history, and then the second you even remotely step out of line, like JFK did, look what happened to him, or with Trump and how he and Bibi had their 2 weeks of I don't even know, are they back on good terms? I can't remember. But all this to say, that is literally exactly how Israel operates as a nation state. And we see it as soon as we do something that is even a little bit outside of their interest. We saw Mark Levin crashing out over the ceasefire. These guys, they are warmongers. They're war hawks.
Certainly in the way, I'll reframe it slightly, certainly in the way that the U.S. Historically has since 1948, as it has with many other countries around the world.
They had a weapons embargo on Israel in 1948.
Well, yes, I'm certainly aware of that.
So what did you mean by support, or the way we supported Israel since 1948? What did you mean by that?
We've been sending them lots of financial aid, funded by American taxpayers. I think these days
in
it's
1948.
Sure, it began in 1948.
No.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, I see you pushed your button. What claim would you like to fact check?
I would like to fact check that we started giving Israel financial aid in 1948.
Fact checkers, do your thing.
I know, it really increased after JFK's assassination. That was really when it skyrocketed. I don't know when it started off the top of my head, but I do know that it was very limited, and it was humanitarian aid only.
I'm gonna say that Matt is probably correct.
No, I think it's wrong. I don't think it started in 1948. I bet it was early. I bet it was early 1950s. I bet it was early 1950s, and I bet it was very limited aid. And then it was after JFK's assassination when it skyrocketed.
Buttons.
Yeah,
this is good.
Yeah, absolutely. I should have said taxpayer fund.
So, Phil, you claim that Israel began receiving aid in 1948 from the U.S. The fact checkers have checked, and the verdict is That is false.
Oh.
The United States began providing economic aid to the newly founded state of Israel in 1949.
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me?
Oh, 1 year.
Give
Okay.
me a freaking break, dude. Oh, 1949. Like, come on, bro. Like, what are we doing here? That is so garbage.
After its 1948 independence. Very
I got
close.
you. I knew it was 1949. That's why I said 48.
Gerard, welcome. We're going to start with you, and the clock starts now.
Nice to meet you, Nick.
Nice to meet you, Gerard.
So my stance is this. Israel, at the end of the day, is more of a liability than an asset. First, I'll talk about the liability side, and then I'll let you respond with...
A little bit. Dude, by the way, already I'm liking his argument already, because this is kind of the angle I want to go with. When it comes to, I feel like this is the best angle to take, is sort of how Israel is a liability more than they're an ally. I think it's a really especially with the popular opinion aspect, which I think he's going to talk about that. I think that the argument that Israel is a better ally than they are liability is very difficult to defend. So we'll see how this goes.
What value they provide. Sure. So here's the issue. What they've been doing in Gaza, what they've been doing in Lebanon, what they've been doing generally in the Middle East, very unpopular on the world stage, very unpopular domestically. By anchoring ourselves to Israel, we are hurting our reputation in the world by attaching ourselves to what many believe to be a genocide. I know we'll discuss whether it is later, but attaching ourselves to that is a...
Yeah, and guys, I've told you before.
This is a good point.
I've told you before, when you're engaging with a Zionist, do not say it's a genocide, because they will just, all the debate will turn into is whether or not it's intentional. That's all it's going to turn into. They're going to hyper focus on the technical definition of genocide, and that's what you're going to debate for the next 2 hours. Like, you don't have to just say mass murder or something. Like, you just use a different word. Like, just don't let them get out on the technicality. Too often we let them get out on technicalities.
And I like this point a lot, because, like, whether it's a genocide or not, the world perceives it that way. And when America supports that, it's like he said, it hurts the reputation. This is and this is actually kind of goes back to remember the League of Nations, like post World War I with Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah.
After World War I, everyone looked to America for like what the diplomatic standard should and would be, and that's why when the Balfour Declaration became really popular during that time in 1917, America was the very first country that the UK went to, and they were seeking Woodrow Wilson's, essentially his approval to go around to push this declaration. So like at one point we were like the leading standard of like, if America agrees with it, then it's based. If they don't agree with it, then it's not good. So like this is, in our support of this genocide, it's really destroying what we once were on the global stage.
And the entire Middle East basically sees us as the enemy because of our support. Some of it is just because of inherent Somalia is not the Middle East, but for example, Somalia, that was just us. That was us, and it's kind of Iran too. Our direct involvement in these nations, destabilizing them, Libya, Syria. I mean, we kind of are the bad guy, even if you removed Israel as a factor, for example, Afghanistan had nothing to do with Israel. And yet we were involved, right? And, attempting to install a government, that was, spreading freedom and democracy, right? I personally don't believe that Afghanistan had anything to do with Israel, but
the only thing that I will say is, I think that America not only has a economic interest of being in Afghanistan, but I think Israel does have an interest of America occupying Afghanistan because it's right on the border.
Oh yeah,
of Iran.
no, that's not what I mean. I'm just saying not with Iraq. With Iraq, you had Netanyahu literally, testifying before Congress, advocating for us to go to war with Iraq. You just didn't have that with Afghanistan. You didn't have that level of lobbying from Israel, to get involved in Afghanistan. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying that that one was more just, you know what I mean? Compared to Iraq, it was very limited involvement.
Huge detriment.
Obviously, it's in Israel's best interest that we, install
or on Iran's border.
Yeah, really anywhere in the Middle East.
To the United States, and Israel, not a very good ally. I know you'll say things like they give us technology and intelligence, but they don't really help us in a lot of key ways. Like in the Iraq War, in the Afghanistan War, they didn't send boots on the ground to like actually go in as part of the coalition of the willing and invade. They told us intelligence information, like Saddam had weapons of mass destruction. Mossad did echo that for us. They told us things like we should go attack these countries, but they're not the ones who put their butts on the line. Israel didn't help us in Vietnam. They didn't help us in the Korean War. Israel has not been there for us. And
guys, the way he worded that, you'll see how this ends out. The way he worded it was brilliant.
Been there for them in what's actually the most important way. I know we were talking about the MOU and the money, but that's not the most valuable thing we do.
All right.
Okay.
Is Mateen?
He said that Mossad gave us intelligence regarding the weapons of mass destruction. It was British and German intelligence.
I said that Mossad echoed it for what that's worth in the fact check. I think I'm right, but we'll find out.
Very careful verbiage. He was very careful with what he said. That's what I noticed, guys, about this style of dialogue is you have to be so precise in what you say.
Gerard, you claim that Mossad provided the U.S. information about Iraq having weapons of mass destruction. Our fact checkers checked that and came to a verdict. It is true. In the run-up to the Iraq War, Israeli intelligence, including Mossad, provided the U.S. with information related to weapons of mass destruction, though some of it later proved wrong or incomplete.
All right. Thank you. Good job.
The score is currently 2-1 with the pro-Israel side in the
go,
lead.
Gerard.
Matt, thank you for joining us, and we're going to start with you. So
You see what I'm saying, though? Like, it literally just boils down to, like, being very precise with what you say. But, yeah, that was a great... That from the clips I've seen of this, you guys know I go in dark on all these, but I did see that clip on Twitter, I think, and that was my favorite clip I've seen so far. Just that argument, that line of argumentation, I think is almost impossible to refute. You know what I mean? The public opinion angle.
Yeah.
Time starts now.
So you mentioned, like, for example, liability because of international pressure on the large scale or whatever. Yeah. When we're talking about international pressure, we're talking about sanctions, embargoes, right? Like something that would actually affect America negatively in reference to material loss.
No,
so
political capital matters. Well, it's a political capital, right? If every country in Europe, all our allies,
what's up? It's like when Matt said, "Oh, when we talk about international pressure, we're talking about sanctions, embargoes, and stuff." It's like that. It doesn't. It's not only limited to that. It can just be limited. It can just be interpreted about how America is perceived. Is America influential? Are they a beacon of morality? In terms of wars, conflicts, and all these things. Who's gonna have a meaningful sanction or embargo against the world's strongest economic power, that's obviously not what he's talking about. And he's just trying to obfuscate immediately. That's why I don't like how Matt debates. His argumentation is so I don't know. It's hard to describe it.
Western Europe hate Israel. They think it's a genocide. They don't want to participate in this. And we go to bat for them every time. Every UN Security Council vote we veto on behalf of Israel makes us less popular with our other allies.
Really quickly, you said every country in Europe.
I said Western European allies generally.
Right, so is Germany considered Western Europe?
Germany is Western Europe.
Okay, great. In reference to the hierarchy of countries that give Israel the most weapons, who's number 2?
Germany. Either way.
Okay, so Germany.
Because they do it through an aid program because they have to pay Israel a ton of money every year.
No, they don't do it through an aid program.
Nick, I see you press your button. Which claim would you like to fact check?
I'd like to fact check that Gerard said that the reason Germany is so high on the list, second, is because they do it specifically through an aid program.
Because they have to give the most.
Was that clear?
That's verbatim what he said.
I'm waiting for the one that he crashes out over. I wonder if this is
We've recorded this. We could check.
This could honestly go either way. They could find something that says, well, this kind of says that. I don't know.
Gerard, you claim that the reason Germany is the second highest exporter of weapons to Israel is because of a domestic aid program requirement. Our fact checkers have come to a verdict, and that is a false claim.
But why is this something
Germany
that they even want to fact check though? This doesn't really. This is why this show is kind of stupid. Yeah, in my opinion, because it's oh, okay, well actually on this day you said it was 1947, but it was actually 1949. It doesn't really change much of the substance of the argument.
I feel like there's got to be a way to do it where if you say something that's generally true, for example, the when AIDS started, I'm sorry, but 1948 or 1949, it doesn't affect the argument. You know what I mean? So you almost need a set of judges to determine does this meet like the spirit of like what your argument was, basically? You know what I mean? I feel like that's what this is missing, because right now it's just a bunch of points off technicality.
Israel's second largest arms supplier after the United States. However, this is driven by foreign policy choices and strategic historical ties, including post-Holocaust commitments and long-term defense cooperation, not because of a domestic aid program. We're close, but no cigars, so thank you, and we're just gonna head back to the program.
Thank you.
All right, guys, start pressing buttons.
Dennis, welcome to the table. We're gonna start with you, and the clock starts now.
All right, so
let's start.
What's that?
Now we got the sus guy.
By the way, I don't know if you guys saw this, but these two got teamed up together against Dean and Parker. It was so bad, dude. It was so bad, because this guy is like a, far right, anti-Israel, obviously, and then Matt Nuclear is literally an Israel shill, and he's not really a conservative either. Like, Matt Nuclear is not a Christian. At least publicly, he's not. So, it was just a total disaster, and they ended up arguing with each other almost as much as they were arguing with Dean and Parker.
By defining America First. America First is something that directly benefits Americans, American taxpayers. So I'm just curious, because we've been talking a lot about foreign policy, about Israel, about the money that goes to Israel. Can you quantify to me the return that we're getting?
Yeah, so for example, if we're talking about like bilateral trade between U.S. and Israel, that supports about 255,000 American jobs, and that's about $55 billion.
Specifically,
on top of that, hold on.
Specifically, what industries?
Well, that's actually multiple different industries.
And are these jobs created at home?
Hold on.
Okay,
I said supports 255,000 American jobs, specifically
255,000 American jobs. And how big is our country? Like, was it like 300 million people living in America, something like that?
Adults, I think that's. I always get confused because there's the adult population, there's the total population.
True. Yeah.
What's your point?
I mean, that's just I still feel like even if it was only accounting for the adult population, that's still like a fraction of a percent. Like, okay, bro.
Yeah, it's the adult population is 270.
Yeah.
so it's actually, it's even less.
Direct investment from Israel is about $36 billion. And that also
comparatively,
dude, I'm just answering you. Hold on for a second.
Comparatively,
that is about $36 billion. And Israel being the size of New Jersey, they're actually top 20 investment.
Economics.
GDP go up.
Yeah.
Thankfully, people are seeing through that shit, dude. Like, people really are tired of the GDP conversation.
Yeah. Now let's take the context of Israel, right? And the amount of foreign conflicts they've driven us into the Middle East. And the amount of money. Can you tell me how much money we spent?
Which foreign conflict?
Can you tell me how much money we spent?
It's like, what, 20 trillion, I think? I think it's 20 trillion we've spent on international wars that involved either directly or indirectly Israel.
That's actually, that's actually a very good point. So whenever someone brings up the fact that Israel helps us out economically and they cite like whatever numbers, you can just like counter that with, okay, well, if you like to talk about numbers and economics, how much money do we spend in the Iraq war? You know, how much money do we spend on all of these Middle Eastern endeavors that ultimately gave us no benefit at all? It's like, it's literally, it's a wash. If not, like it's worse. Like it put us in a deficit.
This is about to be, I bet you whatever the answer to this is about to be fact checked.
Can you tell me how much, let me finish my question.
Yeah.
Can you tell me how much money we spent in foreign conflicts in the Middle East in the last 2 decades?
So you asked two different questions there. Just let me respond without an interruption. So the first question you asked me is how many conflicts that we did for Israel. The second question was how many conflicts we did in the Middle East. Those are two separate questions, right?
My gosh.
I actually didn't.
Hold on.
I just asked about conflicts in the Middle East.
Hold on. Yeah, that's what you went to after you first actually went to the conflicts that we did for Israel.
He's doing everything he can to avoid saying it's $20 trillion.
Yeah. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that you just asked two different questions. So which question are you actually asking?
I'm asking as far as
what's that?
If someone asked me like a direct question, I'd be like, a very large sum of money was spent. Actually.
Right. We're talking about Israel here.
Okay, right. Let's just take the latest conflict.
Sure.
Did America spend in this conflict with Iran that Israel brought us into?
Okay, there you go. Israel brought us into another snuck premise in there. Give us
evidence. It's not a snuck premise.
How did Israel bring us into this
The State Department published a memo. First off, there's Senator Tom Cotton, there's Marco Rubio, and there is Speaker Mike Johnson, all who said on the record,
Orthodox, or you are now a mod,
that we initially got into this conflict because as a preemptive strike, because Israel was planning on...
What did Marco
Which claim would you like to fact check?
That Marco Rubio made that statement about a preemptive strike.
To clarify, he said this the day after the strike. He later took it back.
But he never verbatim said Israel got us into this conflict.
No, he said it as a preemptive strike. I never said that.
but he did say, well, I don't remember what his verbatim quote was, but he said that basically, didn't he say Israel was going to strike? And so that was why we got involved. I thought that was what he said. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
Which way do you think this is going to go? If they see that interview, it should go our way, but I don't know what they're looking up.
Dennis, you claimed that Marco Rubio made a statement regarding Israel getting us into conflict.
Bro, there's literally also the State Department put out a document saying that Israel got us in the war. So this better go their freaking way.
Our fact checkers have come to a verdict. And that is a true claim. The day after the war
This is the one he crashed out on, I bet. I bet he was over on his live seething about this.
started, Rubio admitted that the U.S. was forced into war with Iran by Israel while speaking with reporters.
Good job, buddy. Maybe you'll do better next time.
I mean, that's a misinterpretation, but sure.
It's a misinterpretation.
How is it a misinterpretation?
You guys mad at the fact checkers.
Right, you guys buzzed
I
up
love
a
you
little.
guys.
All right, so the
Good job, buddy.
pro-Israel
Maybe
side
you'll do
used
better
all
next
of their
I'm gonna see if I can find the State Department document.
Look at,
so we're
bro,
gonna
look at
move
Matt.
on.
He's so pissed. He's folding his arms.
I'm
Oh
telling
my
you, bro.
goodness.
This
so
is the one
funny.
he crashed out over. I guarantee it.
to the next prompt. The next checkmate prompt is, did Israel commit genocide in Gaza? Mateen, we're going to start with you.
Bro,
and your time.
it's like the Zionists were not even going to agree with doing this if this wasn't a question. Like,
Yeah.
I know this was their thing.
Well, but I bet you this is definitely because Matt and Nick are definitely the best at arguing this one. So we'll see
Starts
how
now.
good this guy
So
is.
this is something that, has gotten me into a lot of trouble before, expressing my views on the genocide thing. I don't believe there is a genocide going on because, I'm going off by the actual definition of the word genocide.
Okay, so
you
define
need
it.
intent. And, by what Israel's
Yeah.
been
See
doing.
what I told
over there,
you? I
sharing
told you
flags.
guys. They always drag the debate into intent. That's where they can drag you in the weeds on it. That's why you don't want to do this. Why you don't want to talk about genocide.
Giving them warning that, hey,
So
there's going
here's
to be
my
a strike.
question, though.
Oh, I thought you were talking.
I think that kills the intent. If they had the intent to commit a genocide, why would they warn
let's
their
define-
enemies?
let's
That's
define
such
what
a
you
dumb
mean by
point.
intent.
Say, oh, look, it's not a
The intent to
genocide,
kill and,
because
the
they
genocide thing.
dropped a bunch of flyers over. They said, hey, look, we're
I
about to
know.
bomb your entire village. And what happens is they drop these flyers over. They tell the Palestinians to go to the safe zone, and then on their way to their safe zone, they get bombed on the way to the safe zone.
Right.
Like it's so essential. They just won't say it because obviously it's horrible optics. But it's like there's evidence that that's like what they do. Like they target refugee camps, they target tents. Like there's definitely the intent. It's just not written, so they use that to their advantage.
Yeah, 100%.
It also has a racial, angle to it too.
Okay, but now you're changing the subject. Would you say that Israeli public officials making statements that are straight up genocidal statements?
Who?
Does
Give
that
me an
qualify?
example of.
I mean, Netanyahu constantly comparing this conflict to the historical.
He should have gone for the
Brought this up.
finance minister, bro. The finance minister be
Yeah.
saying crazy shit. That's what he should
Yeah,
have gone for.
Ben Gavir, Smotrich.
Yeah.
There's
Oh
a
yeah,
whole
Ben
big-
Gavir. The tweet from Ben Gavir, bro. How is that not genocidal?
Theological conflict between the Jewish
Except
people
for
and
every
Amalek.
Israeli
For
mother's tear, there's gonna be like 1,000 Lebanese mother's tears. Like, dude, he's insane.
Yeah, absolutely. That wasn't even the worst line of it. I'll pull it up because it was so bad.
literally years he's been doing that.
How does it,
encourage in the
genocide?
Bible, God literally commands to wipe out Amalek. So that is straight up a
Hey, Ben, I
genocidal
gotta
comparison. Do you at least concede
You got
to
to
that?
run?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Sounds good. Thanks for joining.
See ya.
All right. See you later.
No, I'm still
No?
looking.
This is-
I'm
this is
still,
I turn it on 1.25 now.
Prime Minister
I'm
of
still
Israel
looking
saying
to
this.
hear an actual statement from Bibi
Okay,
that
an
justifies
actual- I
genocide
just told
or
you.
encourages genocide.
That's-
No, you gave me an example from the Bible.
No, I gave you an example of what he's saying referencing the Bible. You got to stop
So
for a
now-
second, clean out your...
Yeah, and there was a survey too by Penn State referencing that same passage and basically asking the Israeli population if this passage applied to the Palestinians, and 47% said yes, like to wiping out every man, woman, and child in Gaza and the West Bank. So
Listen to what I'm saying.
So now how does it justify genocide? Like based on the action of the modern state of Israel?
It's not because he's not directly saying it. He's indirectly calling for a genocide. It's like me saying, hey guys, go out there and kill that entire football team to the U.S. team, and I give them a bunch of machine guns. What are they going to do? It's a bad metaphor, but you get the idea.
I mean, not really, because again, I brought up the point that Israel is giving tons of warning to people in Gaza.
That's like speaking out of both sides of your mouth, because you're saying one thing and then you're doing another, so you can give yourself moral cover.
This is the thing I started with.
Here's the guys. Here's the State Department. Here's the State Department document. So this was Operation Epic Fury and international law, and you can see here. It literally says the United States is engaged in this conflict at the request of and in the collective self-defense of its Israeli ally. Now it throws in the caveat that it's also an exercise of the United States' own inherent right to self-defense, but it still says that the reason we're there is because of Israel. So it's insane that they would ever contest that.
Specific example on how it's a genocide.
So let's drill down on some numbers. About 3.3 or 3.8% of the population, right, displaced or killed, or is that enough for you?
Why?
Systematically?
What was the reasoning behind
civilian areas?
And who else?
And who else what?
Combatants are part of that too. The number, the percentage
so you're okay.
You're giving me.
You're telling me that you're okay with having that much of a population of an entire country be wiped? Let me finish my point. Right, wiped out so that you can hopefully get some combatants in the middle. So you're okay. Like let's say that tomorrow we wipe out 5% of Germany so that we can get 100 people. You're okay with that?
No, I'm not okay with that.
That doesn't qualify as a genocide to you.
You brought Germany into the mix, but
I'm using an example.
Area like the Gaza Strip. It's a tiny area. There's a huge population of people over there, and Hamas is known to use civilian structures to hide underneath it. Hospitals, schools, because they know if Israel attacks back, they're going to be like, oh, look, the entire world, they attacked us, they're committing genocide.
Okay.
That's part of their game.
So give me some data why you think this doesn't qualify as a genocide.
Because, again, that kills the intent.
I didn't ask you to redefine what intent is. I asked you for data.
Because you're defending yourself against
give me
an enemy
give me comparative
that believes
data.
your entire race needs to be eradicated from the face of the earth.
What I'm asking, not entire race.
All right, Kai, I see you pressed your button. Which claim would you like to fact check?
I don't know. This is difficult to substantiate, but I think it's a big rhetorical charge to say that they want to extinguish, your people off the face of the earth.
Look at the Hamas charter, the Hamas mission statement.
Yeah, that their goal is to eradicate, Jewish people?
That was the original Hamas charter, not the updated one. There's an updated one from the late 2010s that does not include that. They're talking about the one from the 1980s.
From all countries, because he said off the face of the earth.
Off the face of the earth.
So he said all countries.
He never quotes anything about wiping Amalek or anything.
No, he compares them to Amalek.
He compares Hamas. He answers that.
No, he says...
Say it, and I'll fact check you. Say it in it. Be specific, be a man.
I did say it, but
you did it.
I said it so many times.
You did not.
You could just say if you have some balls.
Yeah, if you believe it.
I didn't say he said. You just got the story.
Dennis.
All right, Mateen, you made the claim that Hamas has a goal or mission statement to eradicate all Jewish people. Fact checkers have come to a verdict, and that statement is false. The current Hamas charter does not contain an explicit direct statement calling for the elimination of all Jewish people worldwide.
Current. Told you guys. Current.
Say the current.
Next time.
The 1988 charter.
All right, Eden, thanks for joining us. We're going to start with you, and your time starts now.
Okay.
Here's the study, guys. This is a Penn State study, and it found that 47% of Israeli civilians, these are mostly civilians that participated in this, by the way, guys, said that Israel should act like the ancient Israelites at Jericho, killing all inhabitants when conquering an enemy city. The poll surveyed 1,005 Jewish Israelis, which is a decent amount of people, by the way, for as far as data collection. It also indicates that 82% supported the forced expulsion of Palestinians from Gaza. So, yeah. Everybody brings up Hamas, but the Israelis are not any better.
So I just want to start by saying that there was a fact check on the current charter, okay? He was trying to talk about how in the previous charter, it comes from Hadith to eradicate every Jew from behind the tree, behind the bush. I'm paraphrasing it, but that's what is written in there. I think that shows intent to commit genocide.
Okay, but that's not what we're actually talking about.
Okay, so is Israel committing a genocide?
Exactly.
How do you define genocide?
Well, no, you're the one who just came in, you tried to fact check the fact check, you didn't even lay out a claim, and now you're asking me to explain. I've been debating for 2 minutes.
I'm asking you to go back to the claim.
Exactly, so you tell me.
You're on the side that says that Israel...
Yeah, it's an AI summary of the survey, dude. Someone's complaining about me using Google AI, but it's an AI summary of the survey. You want me to pull up the actual survey?
committing a genocide.
Yes.
How do you define genocide?
It's the systematic elimination of a people.
Okay, how are they systematically eliminated?
I mean, I've described, it goes down to intent, it goes down to...
Source?
Okay, you pushed the
source?
button.
I
Which
told
claim
you
would
the
you
source was Penn State. Do you guys not read or listen? These trolls in my comments, source? It's literally a Penn State University study. It was right there. The source was on the screen. It was on the screen for you.
like to fact check?
I like to fact check his definition of genocide. It is systematic destruction of a people in whole or in part, not a systematic elimination. And yes, there is a difference, Dennis.
I didn't say
You
whole,
did.
I said systematic elimination.
Elimination. It's systematic destruction of a people.
By the way, you didn't even let me finish saying my definition, by the way.
Unless you were going to say I was just kidding.
He said elimination. It's actually systematic destruction. Give me a break, dude.
This is making me really anti-Semitic.
That's a good one.
I'll give you that. That was good.
Verdict is in. All right, Dennis, you made the claim that the definition...
Listen, Buddha Customs, you're welcome to go and read the full study conducted by Pennsylvania State University. You're welcome to go and read the full study.
...of genocide is the systematic elimination of an ethnic group. Our fact checkers have come to a verdict, and that is false. Genocide is defined in international law as certain acts committed with intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group.
I did mention the intent part, but destroy.
That's not the part I was fact checking.
Words gotta
That's
be
not the
very
part I was fact checking. I agree with the intent part.
Oh, goodness, Glorfus.
It's like AI wasn't the source. You're about to get freaking banned. I didn't say AI was the source. I said the Pennsylvania State study was the source. So you are a troll. Whether you're intentionally being a troll or not, you are a troll.
Score is 4-3.
Or you're just actually incompetent.
With pro-Israel in the lead. Kai, welcome back. We're going to lead with you.
Thank you.
And your time starts now.
There seem to be efforts made by Israel and by members of the Netanyahu government who, don't have any amount of discretion. Recent comments made literally just this week from, I forget the official title, please don't hit me on this, the Minister of National Defense, I believe, Itamar Ben-Gvir, who said that all of Lebanon must burn. It seems to be very indiscriminate, the kind of retaliatory violence that the Israeli government is willing to pursue in order to establish a greater Israel. I think we see this with West Bank expansion. I don't think that they're going to retreat from Lebanon.
Okay, so I want to go back to what you said about the statement from Ben-Gvir.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that's terrible, by the way?
I think it is a terrible statement, but I also think people make terrible statements. And I think that those statements only prove true through the actions. So if that was what they were trying to do and they said that, that would make sense. I prefer to look at the actions, right? We all know that Israel has great military capabilities.
Let's just ignore, guys. Does intent matter if you're being a troll or not? I don't know if it does. That's a good question. Does it make you just a troll even if you don't intend to be? I wonder. I think it just makes you incompetent. I think it just makes you...
Your side talks about this all the time. And they, technically, if they wanted to, they could have eradicated all of the Palestinians from Gaza. In your claim, who do you believe Israel is committing genocide?
Yeah, they could have. And guess what? They told us, they literally told us, the finance minister explicitly said to us that the reason why they haven't... No! Guys. Bro. Yo, we back? Oh, let's go! W's in the chat! W's in the chat! We back! We back! Yo, base department, you called? You called? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Let's go. They're not gonna get us today. They're not gonna get us today. Let's go. Bro, I was like, what in the world? That's so weird. I didn't even appeal anything, bro. I didn't even appeal anything. That's crazy. That's crazy. Maybe I need to chill with like some of the maybe I use code words more, like unalive and G-side and shit like that, like you got to do on TikTok. All right, let's keep going.
Against.
I don't want to, throw myself onto this claim, but I think they have no problem entertaining the mass displacement of individuals. This is probably where I think it rises more into the question of, is it maybe more like ethnic cleansing?
Right.
Is it more like genocide? But to get to your argument that you could actually pursue a...
No, it wasn't copyright. It just said policy violation, and then it just said policy violation. So I don't know, man. And then I came back without ever having to apply a appeal or anything. Yeah, I'm gonna use code words from now on.
Genocide without having the capability of killing everybody.
But the problem is they're also not using code. Like they said G-side, they said the actual word. You know what I mean?
You're not being as efficient.
Yeah, I love Peter Thiel, I love Palantir, and the nation-state of Israel.
As possible, because I think you can.
So then what is Israel's motive? Let's assume
I had to swear allegiance to Benjamin Netanyahu and the nation-state of Israel while I was off camera, and then they brought us back, guys.
that they do have an intent to genocide. They have the capabilities to do it. Why haven't they?
It's the exact same reason I don't think Iran just went and got a nuclear weapon. Because they realized there is an escalatory potential in just pursuing something outright. Hitler tried to cover up, the murder of Jews. Absolutely.
Right, but he was also doing it. He had the action. He was putting them in concentration camps, and there was a physical...
But hold on. Let me get to kind of the point I'm making, because I don't think you disagree. There is a mass displacement of people in the West Bank and in Gaza, and the displacement of individuals is pursuant to the goal of pushing them out.
That isn't genocide, though. That would be under the idea of ethnic cleansing. If that is accurate, that is more under the category of ethnic cleansing.
I mean, fact check me. There's a mass displacement in the West Bank and in Gaza.
Well, that's what happens in a war. There's mass displacements.
And a war is justification for the murder of individuals. I mean, you look at the attack in Lebanon, right?
Well, we're talking about Gaza. So could we bring it back to Gaza?
Yes, but
guys, as always, please like the live and subscribe. Please like the live and subscribe. I'm your host, Benjamin Michael. I'm a far-right Orthodox Christian. And I'm an anti-Zionist, and I'm an American nationalist. So please like the live and subscribe. As always, I go over all super chats at the end. And if you want to be a member, you can sign up for memberships. I do exclusive content. I'll follow you back on social media, especially on Instagram. I have 70K over on Instagram. So if you want to be a member and support me monthly, you can sign up that way.
It's the retaliation that is indicative of the state of mind of the Israeli government. There's a murder of 4 individuals, IDF soldiers in Lebanon, and subsequently 20 individuals in Lebanon died.
More German civilians died during World War II. Okay, was it wrong for America to step in? Was it wrong for Churchill to step in and eradicate the Nazis? I don't think that was wrong. This is what happens in war. Israel seems to be the only thing.
You made a perfect argument that the war becomes a way of justifying acts against civilians.
Okay, we're talking about the difference between war and genocide. You are kind of mixing them together. You're not distinguishing them at all.
I don't think so. But what I'm trying to tell you is that I don't think you've made enough of a case that you can't have a genocide absent just like an absolute resolve to do so like as efficiently as possible. I'm saying the war is a really good way of covering up the massacre of people that you don't want to be alive.
I think that if you're going to be doing that, if you're going to say that, you have to extend that to like every war.
Certainly.
But no, we're only doing that. So then every war is a genocide.
No,
it makes no sense. That is...
Every war can be a cover-up for it. Not every war is a genocide.
Okay, so then let's assume that what you're saying is true.
Yes.
Then if every war could be a cover-up for a genocide, why is Israel definitively what they're doing a cover-up for a genocide?
I think there's specific ways that they legally make it easier. For instance, Ben Gvir again tried to pass legislation. I mean, he wears a noose lapel pin and passed legislation about the capital punishment against anybody who had been found guilty of killing. I don't know if it's just an Israeli or an IDF soldier specifically, but there are ways of pursuing legal methods to more efficaciously kill people. Like what death toll as a percentage of the population would be necessary to qualify it as a genocide?
Okay, so when we go to, and I know we don't like the UN Charter, but when we look at the definition of genocide, it's more about intent. I don't believe that there is an absolute percentage. Again, I would have to go back to...
Dennis, I see that you pressed your button. What is the specific claim that you'd like to have fact checked?
She's saying that there's not a percentage aspect to genocide.
No, that there's not a specific percentage
to
qualify
fact
for
checkers,
genocide.
is it clear?
Just rewriting my statement.
Not a single genocide has ever.
But no, I'm saying my statement.
I repeat what you said.
All right. Eden, you made the claim that there is no percentage aspect to the definition of genocide.
That's not the claim I made.
Well, the fact checkers have come to a verdict, and that is true. There is no fixed percentage of a group that must be killed or harmed for something to legally qualify as genocide.
Well done.
Awesome. All right, sad to be leaving, returning to the podium.
I got you, bro.
Continue on. We're starting with you. Your time starts now.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, no, because it's a reaction. It wasn't Jubilee. It wasn't Jubilee because it's a reaction stream. So when you do a reaction stream, they can't copyright strike you.
So as to the issue of whether or not Israel is committing or did commit genocide in Gaza, I think, in a narrow technical and legalistic...
Yeah, it's not fair use if I were to just like upload it, but because I'm reacting to it, it's permitted.
...sense they have, in the sense that any sectarian conflict is genocidal, like the trouble...
Matt, I see you push your button. Which claim would you like to fact check?
I would like to fact check the fact that he said that every sectarian conflict is a genocide.
Did we lose it again?